Hello,
Hello, people,
it's so good to be back here. My name is Ayo.
and my name is Lola.
Well, welcome to this edition with us. Um, we saw a story, it's been going, viral online in the recent days, and it's a story of a situation whereby a celebrity, a popular musician, lost his life, and the circumstances that led to his death you know, um, raised a lot of, you know, suspicion. And one of the things that happened, immediately after his death was made known to the world was that, um, people around the world started, sharing their opinion and calling for justice, concerning his death. And this led to different angles, different um, scenarios, different pointing of fingers um, to certain people online. And as this happened, investigations were still going on at that time. And now, almost 2 years after, new information are making the lights now, are coming online and being shown on the media. And also, we have now found, several people again that spoke at that time. A number of people are still, they are coming forward to say, oh, I only spoke based off um, some of the information that were available to me, or, I didn't know this was true. I also saw this online, and I lent my voice to it, and these had led to some of them now apologizing. These had led to some, you know I don't know what they will do in days to come. Maybe some will retract their words, and some, it may lead to them having some court cases. And so for me, I looked at this scenario and I'm like, okay, I feel it's important to talk about how we and everyone out there, how we can encourage ourselves to conduct ourselves online, basically, when certain things are happening, especially when, it concerns things that may be touching us emotionally, you know, and I'm just trying to compare now to look at last 2 years, the kind of informations that were available at that time, and now in the last, say, 3 4 weeks now, the kind of information that are now available, you know and here and there, if we look at the last 2 years, certain people were called out, and
Yes,
hands were pointed at them to say, oh, you contributed to this guy's
you
death,
have a hand
you
in
have a
it.
hand in it, and people really went out against those personalities that were fingered at that time, even though the police investigation was still going on. And now, again, fingers are pointing on certain individuals again to say, hey, you guys were busy manipulating everybody. Um, what you have said was true at those times in the last 2 years were really not true. You guys are trying to push an agenda. You guys are trying to, cover certain things up. So for me, I'm not looking at um, who is true, who is saying the truth, and who is not saying the truth. But more importantly, is about, for me now, I'm looking at it and saying, imagine as a neutral person, you were emotional and you took certain sides, or you took a particular side in the last 2 years. And now, in the light of new information that is coming, you know, you seem to want to, move to the other side again. And with that, it looks like, it brings some sort of confusion, you know, in play here. And so I just want us to share and look at, when things like this happen, how best, can one conduct him or herself online, so that by the time certain information or certain facts begin to come, you don't end up coming to apologize, you don't end up retracting your word, you don't end up sometimes regretting some of the actions that you have taken in the past, and so that, at the end of the day, by the time the new informations come, you are more like, okay, wow, so this was there, right? And, so I would like you to speak to that, Lola. What do you think? People have pointed, or people were looking in a certain direction in the last 2 years. Now, this last few weeks, new people, I imagine, and fingers are being pointed at them. Different scenarios are going in the angle. What do you think? For instance, some of them are fingered in such a way that to say, this you said at this time in the last 2 years was to cover up or to distract the main issue. These are, and then some of them are coming out. I've seen a number of people that came out to apologize. Now somebody, last time I checked now, somebody has been arrested by the police. They are taking the person's statement. I don't know the state of things, with the police. But question is, how do you think one can conduct him or herself online in scenarios like this to prevent things that can end up in court cases, that can end up in you retracting, your words, or you apologizing to, people? What are the things one can do? What do you think?
I think that, first of all, people need to be mindful that, as it seems as if, social media gives you an easy avenue to use your voice, to amplify your voice. That same ease is the thing that should make you know that you need to be very careful. Because before now, if something happened, first of all, we didn't even have access into matters that were far away from us that much. But probably, even if something like that happened in your neighborhood, you'll be in the confines of your house speculating with somebody that is close to you, that is not likely to just blow those things out. So you can change your position quietly as you are updated with information. On social media, that luxury is not really there. You are saying it, so many people are saying it. Even if you go back and delete it, many times some people take record of those things, especially if you are a bit prominent and whatnot. So for me, the first thing is you need to still we all need to still abide by the rules that govern life outside social media, that we need to be careful how we talk. And it's like a lot of times we forget that because of how quick and accessible it is to just type, do a video, say something online, and people are just reacting like that. They are not pausing. So I think the first point, if I'm putting my thoughts together, would be pause. I think I've heard somebody say online that, wait, maybe he said 24 hours, and then somebody said wait 72 hours. What is the urgency that you want to show? In a case of many things, your input doesn't really change anything. You are not, if it's a criminal case or something that involves the police, if you are not the arresting officer or you are not a police person, your opinion is not urgent. I'm sure even the people investigating the case will hardly ever come and share their thoughts too quickly. So, let's learn to practice the pause. It's for everybody. When that matter came up, it was very touchy. Sometimes when you go online, to be as if something is pushing you to talk, because other people's reaction would be like a trigger for another person to be triggered. And it's understandable. A young person died at what seemed like the prime of his life. there seem to be a lot of stories surrounding having suffered and everything. But now more than ever, it's becoming clear that it is when it even looks more triggering that you need to be very careful, because we've seen people make examples of people for what they said online. And sometimes they didn't even pick on the loudest person or the most prominent that said it, maybe because they feel their power will not be able to handle that person. They would sometimes go for the seeming small fry, the person that they feel they can handle. And you don't know if you are just writing something and the person is scanning and the person say, oh, this one, I'm going to make an example of him or her. And even, it's just, you don't want that unnecessary trouble. But more importantly, it's also bad to slander people. Slander is bad. Spreading of rumors is not good. And many times it is until you are on the receiving end that you know how terrible it is. Even if you've not been put on blast like that before the whole world, if you've ever experienced it in your private corner, somebody went somewhere and misrepresented you and people are reacting to you with that, they think you're a bad person. It touches your mental health even at that level. To just see that maybe somebody just went somewhere, gossiped about you, or you had a fight and in order to look good, the person painted themselves as a saint and then other people ran with it. It doesn't feel good, and they are treating you somehow or they are excluding you. You feel it. It touches you mentally. So, you have to be careful about it's just about being careful. Think of the consequences of your actions, how it affects other people, and you don't have to speak. There's this knee-jerk thing that comes with social media these days, and then there's also these things like, it's almost like maybe we are afraid of missing out in a way. Like, we want to be in where everybody is saying it, that I said my own too, I put my voice to and everything. So that we need to exercise more self-control. I think that's just where I'll put it around. Learning to pause, showing self-control, and considering what if it turns out, even if it looks like, oh, all the facts point to this, if it turns out that this thing is not true, what are the implications of everything I've said and done? And then some people go the extra mile. They don't just say, this person is guilty, this person is bad. Some people are so careless, they'll say things like, they should kill this person. Then somebody, they should go to his or her house and unalive, and those kind of things. We need to be careful, because now if you put yourself in a position where you are doing court cases that you don't have money for or something, or even if you have money that is wasting your time, or you even have people hating you. Sometimes some of those people have supporters online, might not even be them, and some of them will just mark you. Things can even get dangerous from there. So I think people should restrain themselves, all of us, because at one point or the other, even if it's not some matters as big as this, there have been a lot of matters that things came out at first and one person seemed like the victim or something, and then new facts emerged. We saw that this person too has their own, or the person is even the bad guy, and people have gone, they've said things. You can't keep apologizing all the time and saying emotions were high, so that's just what I think. Let's just pause and exercise self-control and think about how those things are affecting other people. Sometimes it's not even the people we think we are fighting. They have family members, they have children. Let's consider all those people. So that's just it.
Wow, that's really thoughtful, and I believe that everyone out there, if we can only just, like you said, pause, be patient,
Yes.
also, think about the things we say online, think deeply about them. It will save us a lot of stress. But, this is what I just have to add to it, I missed what you have said, is that you must, I think most people, they just see social media as a place where they are just communicating with like maybe 5, 6 people. You must remember, social media is more like you. Every time you're on social media, you should remember that social media is like a marketplace. It's like a place with 1 million people, and you have been handed the microphone. What would you say? Even, and this is not about followership, because we have seen accounts that have little followership or little influence online, having their posts blow up and,
Yes.
reaching places beyond what one could imagine. Millions of people,
Yes.
soaking in whatever information coming from those accounts. And so for me, I think when you keep it at the back of your mind that social media is a marketplace, a place where there are 1 million people and you have been handed the microphone, I think, it would guide the things you say. Secondly, still speaking on that in terms of, our conduct on social media, is to see that whenever things are happening and you find out that you are becoming emotional, and even if you can't control yourself so much, be careful how you word what you say. It's very important. Be careful how you word what you say. I've seen people that are smart enough to say, oh, use words like allegedly, reportedly. This, as little as those words seem, they can save you from court cases. They can save you from, being sent to jail. They can save you a lot of money. So whenever we see things online and all of that, and we are emotional, we are pained, we feel concerned, and we also want to show that we are concerned. We also want to, be able to express ourselves online. We have to be mindful of how we construct our words, so that whenever the time comes that we may need to change our words or the things we have said, it's easier to say, oh, what I said the last time, I didn't say it as if it was sacrosanct. I didn't say it as a fact. And that's one thing that I think a lot of people don't do on social media these days. Everybody wants to contribute as if they are speaking from a place of facts.
I think it's an ego thing also.
So, and I don't think things work that way. Events have happened, you were never there.
Yes.
At those events. So it's important that you constantly remind yourselves, that I wasn't
There.
at this event. And secondly, I've not even been equipped to have first-hand information of what happened, at these places. I've not gone there myself to see for myself. I've not asked questions from the direct people that participated in this event, or that this event happened, within them. So whatever you read, whatever you see online, you have to just be very careful. And in these days of AI, I'm sure a lot of us are seeing certain videos that are looking very close to being real. It's only when you really know about it that you can even tell that this is an AI generated video, So we need to be careful. This new era that we are going into, the era of AI generating videos, like the way I've seen it, it's going to be real. It's going to get better, so that by the time you see some certain videos generated by AI, you can't tell the difference between those AI generated videos and the real videos. It will get there, trust me, with the way it has evolved in the last 3-4 years. So, and that also speaks to how intentional we have to become about the things we say online. So that's, I think that wraps it up for me to say, just be mindful of how you construct your words, even if you are going to speak. I believe the social media is a platform that gives voice to everybody. And, you have a right to express yourself. That's the truth. But albeit you want to express yourself, ensure that you are very careful in how you construct whatever information you are putting there, especially when you are not the first party to whatever has happened. You know, when you are like the third, fourth, or fifth party to whatever has happened, make sure the more you are farther away from the event, the more it is required of you to be careful on how you construct your words on such events. And I hope this has, helped someone out there. I hope this has served as a reminder.
People also have to be mindful that, there are people playing games with some of these issues online.
That's true.
Some people come online and posture as if they are inside sources because they want to draw your attention.
Sure, yeah.
They want to keep the conversation going. Some people use all those kind of crisis times to acquire followers, do certain things. So they amplify the most controversial take. So you have to be careful not to just even be a pawn in a game that you don't know anything about. And of course, this kind of people, they watch it. They put little things like all this
to protect themselves
in what they are saying. They may couch it in a very dramatic way, but if you check, they will have wiggle room. They will go, and it's just some of the innocent bypassers that saw it and say, what is this? This is happening facts. Where we are. So that one too is there. Let's be mindful.
So we hope you enjoy this particular edition. We'll be looking forward to how you yourself have been able to, in a way, protect yourself online and ensure that you have not been in a situation where you have to retract your word, you have to delete your post, or even suffer a case of defamation, or passing the wrong information, or being invited by the police to come and prove what you said online. We would love to learn from you, and we hope you learned one or two things from us as well. And if you have not learned anything, let this be a reminder again to re-emphasize, to tell you that whatever you have known that we have said is important, so that it would save you from being found in a situation where you have to start to, most likely, I'm sure certain people, some people they are regretting right now to say, why did I even post? Why didn't I just write the short stuff that nobody can pick me and say this is what I said? So see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.